Welcome to Real Judaism with Rabbi Klapper. Unfiltered wisdom for Jewish life.
Okay, welcome back here, everybody. Parshas Vayikra. There is a secret Rashi here in Parshas Vayikra that I want to share with you today. That really it's beneath the surface. This is a Rashi that when you just look at it on the surface, you won't recognize really the depth to it. But there's really something really amazing here in the Rashi. In Perek Beis, Pasuk Yud Gimel. The pasuk here, as most of Sefer Parshas Vayikra, talks about Korbanos, different Korbanos that are brought. And Parshas in Perek Beis, Pasuk Yud Gimel, it talks about the halacha that there's a need to put salt on every korban. So pasuk says, "Kol korban minchascha b'melech timlach." Every korban mincha has to have salt on it. V'lo tashbiz melech bris elokecha me'al minchasecha, that you should not hold back from having salt, because it's a bris, it's Hashem's connection to us through the korban mincha, and all the korbanos. I'll call korbanecha takriv melech. On every korban there should be salt. What's so special about this? Well, if you look at Rashi says an amazing thing over here. He says, "Shabris krusa lamelech." HaKadosh Baruch Hu made a covenant, an agreement with salt. Misheshes yimei bereishis, from the beginning of time. HaKadosh Baruch Hu made an agreement with salt from the beginning of time. That HaKadosh Baruch Hu told the waters below that they were going to go on the Mizbeach, and therefore melach is on every salt, is on every korban, and water nisa chamayim b'chag, and the water on the special water libation that was brought on the chag. What is this talking about? I'd like to explain this. There's a very important idea that can come out from this. It's going to take a second, but if you keep your concentration, you'll be able to follow. Here we go. Okay? There's a medrash. The medrash says that when HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world, on the second day of creation, as we all know from Parshas Beis, HaKadosh Baruch Hu split the waters. He set up the rakia, the firmament, which split the waters above, what we call shamayim. Shamayim, there is water there. That's the English translation of shamayim. Shamayim, there is water there. The waters above, which makes up the heavens. And the waters below, the oceans as we know it. There was water everywhere. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu, on the second day of creation, he split the waters, the upper waters and the lower waters. You see, when Hashem did this, the lower waters were not happy. In general, any type of split, any type of pirud is a bad thing. Achdus, coming together as one, is generally what we strive for in life, to create connections, not to create separations. In fact, the second day of creation, it doesn't say tov. All the other days of creation, it says the word tov, that they were good. On the second day of creation, it does not say the word good. It doesn't say that it was tov, because there was a separation that was created. They separated the water. The lower waters were very upset about this. And the lower water had a complaint against the Rabbi Shalom, and they said, "Why'd you do this? Why'd you have to separate? Why'd you have to split me in half?" Now, obviously, it was a need for the separation of the world, the creation of the world, that there should be a shamayim and there should be water on this earth, and therefore there was a need for it, clearly. But the water still had a taina. They still wanted to know why. Why did you do this to me? And the truth of the matter is that they had a good point, because pirud is not a good thing. Separation is not a good thing. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to them, "I'm going to make it up to you. How? I'm going to bring the water on the Mizbeach." See, most of the water on this earth, I do believe it's about 97% of the water on this planet is salt water. So the water is made up of two parts, the water and the salt. So we're going to take those two components, the salt and the water, and we're going to bring them on the Mizbeach. The salt, as it says in this week's Parsha, in the Pasuk, and that's what Rashi is talking about, the salt is on every single Korban. And the water is brought on Chag Sukkot, on Succos, as the Nisuch HaMayim, that was a special avodah that was done only on Succos. Because Succos is a Chag, besides being Zman Simchasenu, Succos is also the Chag of water. Which is why we start saying at the very end of Sukkos, Mashiv Ruach Marida Geshem, and there's a judgment of water on Chag Sukkot. Now, what does this mean? What is it? Why is this a makeup? Why is this an answer? How did this placate the water? So herein lies a beautiful idea. The Mishnah Mesechus Sukkah says a fantastic line. The Mishnah says, in the beginning of Perek Hey, when it starts to talk about the Chag Sukkot, the Simchas Beis HaSho'eva. Simchas Beis HaSho'eva was a tremendous, tremendous celebration that occurred on Sukkos in the Beis HaMikdash, when there was incredible amounts of dancing, all-night dancing, juggling, all kinds of amazing things would be happening during the Chol HaMoed Sukkos, the nights of Chol HaMoed Sukkos. There would be unending dancing, unending celebrations in the Beis HaMikdash. And the Mishnah says an amazing, amazing line. The Mishnah says, Perek Hey, Mishnah Aleph. Just give me a second to find it. The Mishnah says, Kol mi shelo ra simchas beis HaSho'eva. Anybody who did not see the simcha, the happiness that was occurring in the Beis HaSho'eva, the Simchas Beis HaSho'eva, lo ra simcha miyamav, has never seen true simcha in his whole life. An amazing statement. If you have not seen the simcha of Simchas Beis HaSho'eva, the simcha that was going on in the Beis HaMikdash, at that time when they were having these celebrations, you have never seen simcha in your life. Now why? Why is that? And why specifically was it the Simchas Beis HaSho'eva that they were celebrating this water? That was the only really unique avodah. They were unique Korbanos that were brought on Sukkos, but in every Chag there were unique Korbanos. Obviously, the Chag Pesach, we're coming on to Pesach very soon. Pesach was a tremendous simcha, bringing the Korban Pesach. And Shavuos and Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, tremendous. But yet the Mishnah says you've never seen simcha before in your life if you haven't seen this simcha. Why? What is it so special about the water libations? Because that was really what was unique, and that's why they call it the Simchas Beis HaSho'eva. The great simcha of drawing the water, bringing the water into the Beis HaMikdash and pouring it onto the Mizbeach. What was the great simcha here? And this is what I believe connects to the Rashi in our Parsha this week. See, what was Hashem doing by bringing the water and bringing the salt onto the Mizbeach? What Hashem was doing was Hashem was reconnecting. He was reconnecting to the waters to each other. The water had a claim against the HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The water was saying, Hashem, you split me. How can you do that? I want to have achdus with myself. With myself, I should have achdus at least, right? You split me. I want to come back. I want to become one. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, you're right. So you know what I'm going to do? We're going to make you one again. By going on the Mizbeach, like a Korban, what happens to a Korban? The Korbanos go straight to Shamayim. The Korbanos is the connection between ourselves here on earth and the Rabbeinu Shalom. That is what the purpose of the Korbanos is. That's what's happening in the Korbanos. So when Hashem says to water, you're going to go on the Mizbeach. So every day there's salt. But the completion of that connection is specifically when it's the water. Not just the salt. Because the salt is only part of it. We needed to complete it. The completion of that connection between the waters is what happened on Sukkos. And that's where the simcha was created. Now listen very carefully. This is the big Yisoid. This is the secret of simcha. The secret of simcha, and that's what the Mishnah says, Kol shelo ra'ah simcha beis HaSho'eva. What it means is anybody who doesn't understand, if you don't understand what it is that simcha is, then you don't understand what simcha is. Do you know what that simcha is? That simcha is when you have two parts that are really supposed to be connected. They're really supposed to become one, and they're separated. But then they're reunited. They're brought back together. Two parts of the same whole that get reconnected and they become one again. That is the great simcha of Simchas Beis HaSho'eva. The water has become one again. Somebody who understands that, secret, can tap into the secret of what it means of true happiness. True happiness comes when we reconnect to our true selves. When we reconnect to our source, that's when a person can have an intense feeling of simcha. Simcha is an inner quality of peace, of contentment, of feeling of I'm in the right place. I'm feeling good about myself because I'm being me. And what's really amazing is this is really supposed to be the simcha b'chasana as well. Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when he created man, he takes a neshama, it cracks it in half. And he gives one half to a man, and he gave the other half to a woman. And when they come and they get married, and the two halves of the neshamas rejoin to make a full neshama again, that is that same reconnection. To understand that I'm only half. I am only half, and she is me. She's my other half. If she's my other half, then we come together. That feeling of completion, of I'm becoming one again, that is the truest simcha. That is the yisoid. That is the secret that we learn from the water on the below connecting to the water above. And that's the secret of that simcha on Sukkos. That when we connect, when we see the water connecting, and we realize if the water connection creates such an amazing simcha, I have to do that too. I have to do it together with my wife, and even more deeper than that, we together need to do it with the Rabbi Shalom. By reconnecting to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that is where the secret of happiness, all the other things in the world that a person wants will not make him truly happy. You might get excited with this toy and that vacation, the other vacation. But true contentment, true satisfaction, true feeling of completion and wholeness doesn't come with that. It first starts with the connection to your spouse. And when you have that true connection to your spouse, you can have that true connection with the Rabbi Shalom. Have a good Shabbos.
Thank you for joining Real Judaism, where we explore Torah's wisdom for real life. Created by J Foundations and produced by Eli Podcast Productions. Find more episodes at realjudaism.org and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.